Hi everyone, let's jump straight into my top affordable drugstore concealers. It has been difficult to narrow this list down, but narrow it down I have. There are only 4 concealers in this entire video. I've narrowed it down from probably 20. It's been a long process, but I just thought the more concealers you put in a video, especially if there are 2, maybe 3 concealers that have the same consistency, the same level of coverage, suit the same person, have the same sort of finish, everybody wonders, well, which one should I pick? So I've taken the choice away. There are 4 in this video. Hopefully there will still be something for everybody. If you're wanting light coverage, if you're wanting full coverage, if you have an oily complexion or a dry complexion, if you want a satin finish, radiant finish, matte finish, there will be an option for you. So let's get straight into it. If you are new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I upload 2 to 3 videos here on YouTube every single week. I'm also on Instagram if you fancy checking me out over there. And I would really appreciate it, like really appreciate it, if you would come and join the Pampered Wolf Pack by clicking on that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. So it goes without saying that all of the concealers that have made it into this list will not move underneath the eye, they will not sink into those fine lines and wrinkles, and they're also crease resistant. Now when I say crease resistant, it will depend on how much of the product you actually apply underneath the eye. The more you build these products up, the more you apply, the more chance there is of the product creasing underneath the eye. So everybody is going to have a different experience, but these are my top picks. So let's jump into the first one. Okay, this first pick is for anybody wanting light to light medium coverage. It's suitable for all skin types and comes in 15 different shades. It's from Revolution and it's the Eye Bright Illuminating Concealer. Now Revolution are absolutely phenomenal at labeling their concealers with the undertone and also the skin tone. So it's actually quite easy to pick your shade online without having to swatch these concealers. They are unbelievable at this, and I wish all affordable brands would take a tip from Revolution. So this is a really lightweight formula. It is water thin and it's got a beautiful luminous finish. Like I said, this will give you light to light medium coverage, but this is buildable. So if you're wanting more than light medium coverage, you will probably be able to get it, but then you're into crease territory, so be warned. This does have a sponge applicator. It's really nice to apply. It's very easy to blend out. This has a similar look to the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away concealer. Do not be fooled. This is nothing like that concealer. The consistency is all different. The wearability is all different. It just looks the same, but it definitely isn't. But I actually prefer this to the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away concealer. I know, blow me down, but it's the truth. This is a non-drying formula. It's got beautiful glycerin in there to hydrate the skin, and it's also alcohol and fragrance and essential oil free. So if you have sensitive skin, you may want to give this one a go. It's a lovely coverage, it's a lovely finish, and it wears really well on me. Now personally, I like to set this with either a setting powder or a setting spray. That doesn't mean that you need to set this in place. It will dry down, it doesn't stay tacky on the skin, but I just find if you're wanting that longer wear, then setting it in place is probably the way to go. I also prefer to apply this with a damp blending sponge because this is such a thin consistency. If I apply this with a brush, I tend to get brush strokes in, so have to go over it with a damp blending sponge just to smooth it out anyway. So I prefer to go in and do the whole thing with a damp blending sponge. Next concealer, this is for anybody wanting a medium coverage. Again, this is suitable for all skin types and it comes in 14 shades. This is actually from the sister company of Revolution. This is Revolution Pro and it is the Ultimate Radiant Under Eye Concealer. This is a beautiful concealer. It gives a radiant finish, medium coverage. It's extremely smooth and easy to blend. This is so silky smooth. It's such a beautiful formula. It's got niacinamide, vitamin C, sodium hyaluronate in here. So it's a non-drying formula, but it dries down beautifully because it does have some talc in there and the teeniest bit of alcohol. Now, when I say the teeniest bit, I really do mean you're probably not going to notice the fact that this has alcohol in. You're more likely to notice that this has talc in. This is a self-setting concealer, so you do not need to powder this in place if you don't want to. But like I said before, I prefer to set these in place just for that long wearability. This is fragrance and essential oil free, so if you are sensitive to fragrance, you may want to give this one a try. It's also extremely buildable, very easy to blend out those edges, whether you're wearing a full face of makeup or whether you're just blending this into bare skin. I also find that you can either apply this with your fingers, with a brush, or with a sponge, whether that be a dry sponge or a damp sponge. I've had success with all of those application mediums, so I guess it all depends on personal preference. Moving up the coverage ladder, this is for anybody wanting a medium to full coverage concealer. It's suitable for all skin types and comes in 25 different shades. This is from e.l.f. and it's the Hydrating Camo Concealer. And let me tell you, this is one of the best drugstore concealers I have ever tried. This will give you a satin finish, like I said, medium to full coverage, but this is definitely a buildable formula. It's also extremely long wearing. Now, if you find the satin finish a little bit too shiny, you can mix this with a bit of the original e.l.f. Camo Concealer just to bring down that shine a little bit. Also, this is great for anybody that loves the original Camo Concealer but finds that a little bit drying. Mix a little bit of this one into it and you'll find that it'll be slightly more hydrating than the drying formula of the Camo Original. Similarly to both of the Revolution concealers, this is also cruelty-free and this one is also vegan. It's alcohol-free and fragrance and essential oil-free as well, and it has a large doe foot applicator. Now, I find the large doe foot applicator a little bit too large. I'd prefer it to be the same size as the Revolution Pro Ultimate Radiant Under Eye Concealer. I don't really feel it necessary to have such a large doe foot applicator because you need such a little amount of the product to get really good coverage. So I find that I waste a bit of the product because the applicator is so large. So that's the only thing I would change about this product. It's the only little niggle that I have. So I like to build up the coverage of this with a brush, really get it where I want it, and then leave it for about 30 seconds to let it start to dry down, and then go over it and smooth it over with a damp blending sponge, and it is absolute perfection. Once again, I do like to set this in place. You don't need to if you don't want to, but I just think it adds to the wear time. And finally, if you are wanting full coverage, and I mean ultimate full coverage, this will cover all the secrets in your soul, you need to check out this next concealer. This is suitable for anybody with a normal to oily skin. I have worn this on the odd occasion, but I like to mix this in with the e.l.f. Camo Concealer if I'm wanting to just add a little bit more coverage. That's how I like to do it, because on its own, I find it a little drying on my skin. This comes in 25 different shades, and it's the L'Oreal Infallible More Than a Concealer concealer. It's just unbelievable. This is definitely more than a concealer. This will give you a natural matte finish. It's definitely full coverage and it's buildable, so you will get more if you want to. If you really need to cover something over, this is definitely the one that I would go for. But because it's such full coverage, I don't like to use this on its own. I feel like this looks at its best when you're wearing some other makeup. So when you're blending this into a foundation or a BB cream or a tinted moisturizer, that's how I like it. I don't really like blending it into bare skin because I don't think it looks very natural. This has a very large doe foot applicator, and just like the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, that niggles me a little bit because you need such a small amount of this product. It's really not necessary to have a doe foot applicator that is that large. This is also extremely long wearing. It's more natural when you blend this out and apply it with a sponge rather than applying this with a brush. But again, it's all down to personal preference. And this is alcohol free, but it does contain a fragrance and some essential oils. So if you are sensitive to fragrance and you really want full coverage, this is slightly unlucky for you because you're probably going to want to give this one a miss. So that's it. In my opinion, they are the best affordable concealers that are on the market at the moment. Obviously, there are loads of concealers that are phenomenal quality and great value for money. And if you've been following me for quite some time, you're probably a little shocked that there are a couple of concealers that you thought I was going to mention that didn't appear in this list. And that is probably because they are very similar to others that actually featured in there and I didn't want to double up. But anyway, I'm hoping there is something for everybody. Do let me know your ride or die affordable concealers in the comments section below, and also let everybody know your skin type and the amount of coverage that you like. I really hope you found this video helpful and hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.